GMOs have been such a topic of controversy, and not only in the science community, but in the public sphere as well. So, while medical applications of GMs like GM insulin have been widely accepted, when we start talking about agricultural and food GM, that's when the debate starts to heat up. So, not only has there been worry about the safety of GMOs, but also about there's been concern about huge corporations and how they may take advantage of GMOs. So, Monsanto is an agrochemical company that produces and develops many GMO plants and crops. A while back, there was a scare about Monsanto that when they were creating some Terminator seeds, which are seeds that essentially produce a plant, and that's the only plant that they produce, and the plant that comes out of that seed doesn't produce offspring, that's a Terminator seed. So the concern was with these Terminator seeds, it would force farmers to have to continually buy seeds every year and not be able to use seeds before. This is a valid concern, but farmers have already been annually buying new seeds from seed companies. For example, the corn industry, they buy a hybrid corn seed from seed producers, and they continually buy that annually because if they replant the seeds that come out from the parent seed, it runs the risk of producing plants and offspring that bring out, not so desirable traits or varieties in corn plants that they don't want. So to prevent that, they already buy those seeds annually. All right. GMOs are in no way detrimental to your health, and essentially they have the same tastes and benefits as your regular crops and agriculture that you buy from your grocery store. They're just GMOs. So there's plenty of intervention from the federal government to oversee and protect individuals and making sure that these crops are safe. So whether it be from the FDA or USDA, they definitely keep a close eye on the production of GM plants. So in addition to that, there have been many scientific studies done showing the safety and benefits of GMOs, and so much so that a group of 129 Nobel laureates have signed a letter vouching their support for GMOs. And this being said, there's so much benefit to be had from GM plants.
With the technology science has now, scientists are able to make new variations with beneficial qualities, like being more resistant to viruses or pesticides, which can then eventually lead to helping the world fight climate change, malnutrition, poverty, and much more. For instance, in Bangladeshi farmers hoping for a better life needed an eggplant that was genetically engineered to resist pesticides, and without it, their lives and their families' lives could have been in jeopardy. Although, because of GMOs, their problems were solved. Another example of benefits GMOs can have on our lifestyles is represented by the chestnut tree. By modifying plants to be super effective carbon collectors, like this tree, we can dramatically decrease climate. In conclusion, our population will continue to increase, which will inevitably increase the amount of food being produced. So we have two choices: either expand farming, which leads to deforestation and increase in climate change, which relies on the use of more pesticides, etc., or we can just use more effective methods like GMO crops on the land we already have and prevent all these issues.
For instance, genetically engineering crops that are drought resistant would greatly expand the food stores for countries that have extreme heat and that are in need of more food in general. In addition, creating GM crops that are designed to bring you a lot more nutrients than regular produce alone, essentially creating vitamin and nutrient-rich foods that nourish the body in a more complete way. In some places like Uganda, vitamin A-rich bananas are being engineered to help reduce the massive ongoing vitamin A deficiency problem. GM crops can also help reduce and/or reverse the effects of climate change. By engineering plants that are able to draw nitrogen directly from the air, it reduces the need for us to use nitrogen fertilizers that generally have adverse effects of the environment long term. We could even go as far as GM chestnut trees so that they can be especially good at collecting carbon out of the air. effectively reducing the effect of climate change. The possibilities of GM crops and plants are endless, so why should we limit ourselves on the development of these technologies and innovations?